Hey, what is up, y'all?
Hi, Travis.
Good evening. We are in week 2 of our season of family values, season 2. And this week, we're going to lean into the family value of this, that we don't take ourselves seriously. Right? That's the family value that we're leaning into. As a church, we have like 7 family values that we incorporate who we are as a church. Right, the first one being Jesus is our banner, and we did that in the fall. Right, the first set of family values, the 4 we looked at, and now we're looking at the final 3. Okay, last week, you guys remember what it was? We bring our best and trust God with the rest. Yes, yes, yes. All right, so just like we kind of do on most Wednesday nights, we're not going to take ourselves too seriously, but we do take Jesus seriously here at Bible students. But y'all. Can I be real for a second? Is it okay to be real with you guys?
Yeah.
Guys, I thought being an adult, would be so much easier by now. I thought, at some point as an adult, things get easy. You level up, high school, college, all that. It's like, smooth sailing, right? I think that stress bar, that disappears. Like, you think you got the tests, you got the projects, and all the stuff, you got work. In high school, right? Disappears. Hasn't happened, right? Instead, what you'll see in adulthood, right? It's just more responsibilities with some louder opinions, right? Every decision you make is going to feel huge, right? Every mistake you make might feel final, right? Every season feels like, am I behind? I feel like I'm behind on what I need to get done. Right? And here's the problem that we're looking at. I started to ask myself, I'm taking myself way too seriously with a lot of stuff. I started to put pressure on myself, right? Pressure to lead better, pressure to be wiser, smarter, make better decisions, right? Pressure to be a better Christian, better follower of Jesus. Not just faithful, but I want to be impressive with. Right, God was up in heaven, he has his clipboard, right? He's like, almost proud of that, Travis is just gonna do that. Check it off, yeah, it's good. Try harder, next time you get it right. But somewhere along the way, for myself and my walk with Jesus, following Jesus stopped feeling light. Stopped feeling easy. It started to feel heavy, which is crazy. Which is wild, because Jesus never invited us into pressure, right? He didn't say, come to me, all who have it all together. No, he says, come to me, all who are tired and weary. I give you rest. Just tired of pretending, tired of performing, right? Tired of acting like one bad decision is going to ruin everything. And here's for me what I had to relearn in my walk, right? That God never asked me to carry the weight of my work. That grace that I received isn't something that I have to earn or check a box to. It's just something that I receive. Right? First, accept Him, and I see that new grace, the grace and mercies daily that He's given to me. So at that moment, I stopped trying to impress God. I started just to enjoy Him. And you know what? Joy showed up. Peace showed up as well. Not because life got easier, because it didn't. But because I loosened my grip on life. So if God isn't asking me to take myself seriously, right? Maybe I should. Maybe you should either. And here's, guys, what I realized. That moment, faith started feeling heavy, awkward, or exhausting. It was usually because I made it about me. Right? My performance, my decisions, my pressure, my ability not to mess up. And what happens, everything starts to feel serious. Every choice permanent, every mistake feels fatal. Every awkward moment feels well, that's it. You have that conversation, it's just can I just redo that? Anybody ever have that? Which is why I had to ask you guys this real question. Why are y'all so serious? Why are y'all so serious? All the time. Like for you, why simply one bad decision, that one awkward moment that you might have in school, right? That one wrong answer, and boom, life's over. Credit scrolls, my credentials in high school are now ruined. Popularity gone, right? Game finished. Some of you this evening are stressed out. You're stressed out about your grades. You're stressed out about maybe the outfit you wore today. Like, why did I wear this? You know, some of you are stressed out about your Snap streaks. Like you had the Verizon cell phone service that was not working tonight, and now your Snap streaks are in jeopardy, right? Just as a quick note, don't go to Verizon. But maybe you're stressing out about people. Like relationships are sticky. They're stressing. Oh, that's the word, stressing. That's a weird word. But you might be stressing out about that. The people in your life. You might be stressing about your future. And then some of y'all might be stressing about your future after your future. If you're that far ahead. And let's be honest, sometimes church, it doesn't help. It's supposed to. Right? But maybe you have to say the right thing. You got to act the right way. Whatever that is. Believe the right stuff. Right? Never struggle. Never doubt. Never ask questions. Never admit that you're confused about Scripture or whatever it may have. You just smile. You nod your head. And you don't mess up. Here's the tension though. When life if following Jesus feels heavy, awkward, or exhausting all the time for you, you might have missed something. You might have missed something because Jesus doesn't invite you into that stress or into pressure. No, he invites you into joy. If you're taking notes, this is one verse we're looking at tonight. It's John 15, verse 11, where it says this: I have told you these things so that my joy may be in you, and your joy may be complete. Which means without Jesus, our joy, our life is incomplete. But you notice what Jesus didn't say, though, in this passage, right? He didn't say, so your stress may be complete. So your anxiety might be maxed out. So you can always feel behind in all the assignments that you have to do. No, he said joy. And that's why one of our family values here at Vibrant Students as a church is that we don't take ourselves too seriously. Not because nothing matters, but because Jesus already handled what matters most. If you're taking notes, here's our first point of the evening, that Jesus had joy, and he wants you to have it too. Do you notice? That Jesus didn't just talk about joy, he promised it to you. He promised it. Not fake joy, not I'm good joy. Not post a picture and get your highlight reel on Instagram or Snapchat or Facebook or TikTok, whatever it may be. Not that kind of joy. The joy that still works when life gets messy. Because Jesus said, my joy may be in you. Not some joy, not borrowed joy. My joy is what he says. The same joy that carried Jesus through the pressure, the pain, and rejection, and loss when he went to the cross is available to you. And when you actually see, we actually see this in how Jesus lived. There's a story in John chapter 2. If you want to turn to John chapter 2 in your Bibles. Jesus goes to a wedding, right? Maybe you've gone to a wedding. Gone to a wedding? Yeah. You got little dancing shoes on, right? Party, ate some cake, the cupcakes. So here's some quick context for weddings. Weddings back in this time, you didn't know. Guys, this wasn't like an hour celebration, right? It wasn't just like a, hey, we have a little dance party and all this, right? It was a weekend, multi-day celebration. Can you imagine a party that went just beyond like 5 hours? Like after that 5th hour, like, I'm tapping out, I'm done, I'm tired. No, these folks, they partied for days celebrating the union of two people. Right? There's music, there's food, dancing, joy everywhere. I think the weddings are probably one of the most joyous occasions that we can go to. But the problem is that in this story is that they ran out of something. They ran out of grape juice or wine, which is a big deal back in the day. Back then, that was embarrassing. Like, you think you could put on your t-shirt backwards in school and that you thought that was embarrassing? Like, running out of wine at this party was super embarrassing for them. It just killed the party. This is where we're going to pick up in John chapter 2, verses 1 through 7. Let's read it. It says this: 3 days later, there was a wedding in the village of Cana in Galilee. Jesus' mother was there. Jesus and his disciples were guests also there. And when they started running low on wine at the wedding banquet, Jesus' mother told them, "They're just about out of wine." Jesus said, "Is that any of my business, mother? Like, yours or mine? Like, it's their party. What do we got to do with this? We're the guests. This isn't my time. Don't push me." And she went ahead, telling the servants anyway, like a good mother, right? Whatever he tells you, do it. 6 stoneware water pots were there, used by the Jews for ritual washings. Each held a 20 to 30-gallon jug. That's a lot of wine. Jesus ordered the servants fill the pots with water, and they filled them to the brim. What we see in this passage is that this party is about to fall flat. And Jesus steps in and does his first miracle to provide joy for people around that are attending that party. But you have to notice what he didn't do, right? He doesn't stop the music. He doesn't lecture the crowd. He doesn't say, "All right, everyone, one time's over. Let's hear a sermon. Let's get spiritual." Nah, he doesn't do that. Instead, his first miracle was to turn that water into wine. And not just like good wine, but the best wine. Why? Because Jesus cares about joy. Jesus didn't come to drain life, he came to fill it. Because he's not anti-fun. He's not anti-fake. He's not anti-pressure, anti-pretending. Jesus didn't come to make your life dull. A set of things you have to do. He came to make it full and to display his glory. As we see later on in verse 11, it says this, that this act in Cana of Galilee was the first sign Jesus gave. The first glimpse of his glory. And his disciples believed. If following Jesus feels like constant guilt for you, constant pressure, constantly you feel like you have to put on a mask or a pretend, that's not the joy that he promised. And joy isn't the prize at the end that we get from doing all these things. No. Joy is the fuel along the way. You don't earn it. You receive it. And when Jesus' joy lives in you, you can actually breathe. You can actually laugh and have fun. You can stop performing. Jesus had joy, he wants you to have it too. Second point is this, that taking ourselves too seriously kills community. Here's what happens if we take ourselves too seriously. For us as a youth group, as a people, as a person, or we judge. We hide. We compare. We pretend. We stop having fun. We stop being honest. Romans 12:6, Paul says this beautifully. He says this, that we were made, what we were made to be, without envious or pridefully comparing ourselves with each other, or trying to be something we aren't. Because that's freedom. Real community isn't about impressing people, or impressing a person, it's about belonging. When everyone else is trying to look perfect, nobody feels safe. But when we actually humble ourselves and practice humility, which means thinking less about ourselves, not thinking less of ourselves. But when we are humble, when humility shows up, connection follows. Guys, as Vibrant students, I don't want us ever to compete, us to pretend. There's no perfect people allowed. Right? If you attend a perfect youth group or perfect church, get out because you're going to ruin it. It's a faith, guys, that has to stretch you. And yes, but also it will free you as well. Here's point 3. Humility is vertical and horizontal. Right? Humility, it shapes how we relate together. It shapes how we relate to people. And when we lose humility, faith becomes heavy. Not because God made it heavy, but because we start carrying weight that we were never meant to carry, that we were never meant to do. And when we feel like we have to prove ourselves God, faith turns into performance. We're just putting on a show. That becomes exhausting. But with humility, it brings freedom. Right? When we think vertically, right, in this chart here, right, when we think vertically, humility is our posture before God. Right? It's a recognition that God is God. Show those here. God is God, and we are not. Right? That He is in control. And that His love that He's extended to us in His Son Jesus is a gift that we receive freely. It's a humble heart that says, God, I trust you. God, I don't know all the answers as far as what the plans you have for me, but I trust you. God, I'm depending on you. And when our posture is right, when our hearts are right, our faith becomes lighter. Because we stop trying to manage what only God can handle. And when you think horizontally, right, with each other, and how we relate to each other, right? Humility, it shapes how we relate. It allows for us to be honest instead of defensive. Teachable instead of prideful. Grace-filled instead of self-protective. What says that I don't have to be right all the time. I don't have to pretend I have it all together. I can actually admit that I'm wrong. And guys, when that humility shows up, that pressure begins to leave. That pressure to perform, pressure to prove yourself, pressure to protect your image. That's why humility, it creates a space for joy. Proverbs 17, verse 22, it says this, that a cheerful heart is good medicine. It is good medicine. One of my favorite movies is Patch Adams. You guys ever seen this movie? It's about Robin Williams. You guys know Robin Williams, the actor? He's a doctor, and then he's going against the system, right? And he's all about bringing joy to the patients that are pretty much terminally ill. And you see a change in their lives with the joy he brings in their life. Joy, guys, isn't shallow optimism. Joy is a byproduct of a heart that is at rest. A heart that can rest from humility is actually a surrendered life to God. That can live honestly with others. Because that's what humility does. It frees us to trust God and to love people genuinely. Now, here's an invitation I have for you tonight. And it's pretty simple. It's not to try harder. It's not to be better. It's not to take yourself more seriously. But to put down that weight. The pressure to look right, to look strong, to not mess up. Jesus is standing here. He's saying the same thing to you as he always says. He says this, come to me, all who are tired, weary, and burdened. I give you rest. So instead of being free, I can give you 10 things to kind of walk away with. I want to give you 2 things. One of the 2 invitations I have for you. The first one is this. Look up before you let go. Look up before you let go. Some of you need to stop pretending, stop performing for God, and actually just trust Him. And that means stop trying to earn what Jesus already gave you. Stop talking to God like He's disappointed in you. And stop thinking that if one more mistake, it'll disqualify you from heaven. Tonight, humility for you might look like we're saying this, that God, I trust you with my life. I'm done trying to figure out like I have it all together, but I'm going to trust you. Maybe it's saying this, that God, I don't need to prove anything. God, I want to receive the gift that you give me. You don't need to impress Him. Jesus already did everything that's necessary for you. Put the pressure down with God. The second application point is this. It's the horizontal. Get honest with people. Some of you are exhausted. I see it in your faces. Not because life is hard for you, but because pretending is hard. Like you've mastered the smile, right? You've perfected the I'm good, right? You give the head nod, you might laugh, you say, yeah, I'm fine. Well, let's call a spade a spade. Let's be honest with them. That I'm fine is a cover story. It doesn't mean you're okay. Actually, it might mean the opposite. It means that you don't want to explain what's going on in your life. It means you don't want follow-up questions. It means you don't want to know. It means you don't know that people can actually handle the truth as far as what you're thinking or what you're feeling. I get it. Being honest can feel risky. So maybe tonight, honestly, looks simple. You stop acting like you've got it all together. You admit you're struggling instead of pretending you're strong. You put down your phone. Actually, let someone actually see. You ask for prayer instead of acting like you have it like all together and you don't need it. Because here's the thing, God designed you for connection. Not performance. You guys, real joy. It doesn't grow where everything looks perfect. Real joy grows where honesty lives. You don't have to be impressive. You don't have to be fun. You just gotta be real. You don't have to clean yourselves up before you belong here at Vibrant Students. And here's the problem is when that pressure leaves, joy returns. When you stop pretending, that freedom can begin. And when that humility shows up, faith will feel lighter. So tonight, don't take yourselves so seriously. But take Jesus seriously. Enough to trust Him with your whole life. No perfect people. Just forgiven people. Just free people. Just joy-filled people. That's the family that we're building here at Vibrant Students. Let me pray.